This whole show, Sam, just have the Snapchat filter cucumbers coming out of Nicole's mouth, even when she's not even talking.
You have to go like.
It's one of the new. She just have them popping out right now.
Fill the cup. Did you see that? You have to turn the sound on for one of them because one of them it wouldn't cut. So I was like, like I was like it was like I was throwing it up.
I did see that. This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 24 of The Real Word. Here we are. I'm ready. I'm focused to start a new chapter for the rest of the year. I even looked it up. There's 238 days left in the year, not including today, starting tomorrow, and I'm going to start 238 consecutive Apple a Day snaps on my Instagram story. Are you ready for that?
Sounds exhausting.
Are you ready for all the apples that I'm going to consume? And you're going to see every single one of them. I don't know. A lot of people love that when I used to do it.
Yeah, then do something different. Now they're bored of it. No. They're bored of it now.
Because I don't want to do the orange because my fingernails will be orange for like the rest of my life if I do that.
Oh.
Because you have to peel all those oranges. Think about peeling 238 oranges.
Those. We can do clementines. Those are pretty easy to.
So they're easier.
Yeah.
Easier for sure.
The problem though is that there's just. It's not always orange season. So sometimes like they're really like actually dry and like
I get sick of oranges halfway through one orange. I can't make it through 238.
It's just like not juicy, but then you get like a good orange and then you just eat all of them at once.
I'm doing the apple a day thing. There's a whole metaphor behind it. You would have heard about that if you were on the 5 a.m. call. Maybe a little ding, Sam, for the 5 a.m. call, 5amcall.com. I'm like pushing that out there.
You are.
Is that all right?
Whatever you want to do.
All right. Let's recap on... If you're watching this too, you notice that Nicole's not in on the fruits and vegetables. She's on.
Well, I brought the rosé for you because you're like a rosé all day fella.
Well, because I just made it 30 days straight.
So I did bring you the rosé because you did. The 30 days is officially up, people.
Yeah.
So if you see us in a bar, maybe you should give us a ride home.
I got Uber.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into. I was surprised. I want to recap off of last week's topic, the lawsuit, class action lawsuit a couple agents are putting together against Realtor.com. And I had a lot of feedback, especially on lab coat agents on that thread. Want to address some of the feedback. I was shocked at how many people in the industry are supportive of this lawsuit.
So they were referencing, obviously, another article that we did not discuss on episode 23, but they were talking about the fact that these agents were putting in the lawsuit. It sounded like mostly because they were getting fake leads, or it sounded like maybe Realtor.com was giving them fake data and fake numbers and all that fun stuff.
Duplicate data.
So based on that, I guess I get it, but I also just like keep going, people. Like just so then cancel the contract and move on. That's
the point. I really do, and a lot of these people are good people. A lot of people I know on like through online and stuff. A lot of good people commenting. So it's nothing personally.
It was a great conversation, though.
Great conversation. I'm just curious how many of the people focused on the lawsuit side of things. I saw somebody comment that they too were trying to put together a class action lawsuit against Homes.com. And I'm just curious how many of you guys and gals are really focused on building your business. If you're heads down building a business, do you have time to put together a class action lawsuit to collect? Literally what we're talking about in the Realtor.com case is like hundreds of dollars, $120 and $500.
I get the principle of it being wrong, and I don't think that we're negating that or saying, hey, you know what, if you're too busy,
if Realtor.com, which I still question that they're actually even doing that. I think more so the consumers are putting in bad data.
Well, the sales staff probably was like, hey, you could potentially get this many leads. And they're like, cool. And again, one guy made a really good point. I don't know who it was, but someone was like, yeah, in February I have like 4 leads and I'm supposed to have 200. But then in June I have 400 leads and they told me 200. So again, obviously it varies on how many people are actually out there reaching out, how many people are really on Realtor.
Clearly,
I don't know.
The mistake of Realtor.com was actually putting a number to it when they're selling this to agents by saying, "Hey, we're going to guarantee." They should have never done that. Maybe they should adjust that. But at the end of the day, go build your business, guys.
Yeah, the conversation was good.
Go to work. So
let it go.
Let's get into the rackets because they're way funner.
There's some good ones today.
Well, start it off with the one that you're all like pumped about.
No, go ahead. You have the article. I like when you start.
I have the article that you sent me
I'm
from
just going to be the wingman.
Realtor Mag. If Realtor Mag goes out of business, I'm going to be shocked because Nicole White is such a supporter of you guys over at Realtor Mag.
You're welcome.
All right, so white boxing has turned luxury homes into raw spaces.
I'm actually curious.
What is white boxing?
Well, that's the biggest thing. I'm curious if anyone's
Nicole
even
White,
heard
tell
of
us
white
about
boxing, because I'll be honest, I think it's quite genius. So white boxing,
I find it interesting that you think it's genius because you're such a supporter of staging and everything looking perfect.
I'm a huge supporter of staging, but what we're missing here though is I think that there's a time and a place for all things. I just think that having the options is fabulous. And if this is actually working and homeowners are willing to do it, what a great additional option. So I've got plenty of homeowners.
So what is white boxing? Start there. So nobody knows what the hell we're talking about.
White boxing essentially is you stripping your home virtually of everything. In this article, it's saying that it's happening mostly in the luxury market, but so instead of upgrading your kitchen, you're actually just removing your kitchen.
So they're saying instead of gutting the kitchen, you are gutting it, but you're now putting up sheetrock and painting it white, so it's a clean blank canvas.
Right. So instead of someone going in after spending, say the homeowner spent $50,000 to get the kitchen ready for sale, and then potentially that buyer coming in and ripping it all out anyway, what white boxing is you actually removing all of your finishes, including bathrooms. I mean, some people are removing bathrooms, so it's really just a blank slate for them to then put in.
It doesn't look like a construction zone, but it looks clean.
Right. White boxing, you're boxing it out. I guess the biggest issues that we have here obviously are financing.
So many agents say that people don't have vision though.
Yeah, so I think that people are I would say maybe 70% of the time people have a hard time visualizing when they're staring at what is in front of them.
Outdated cabinets and countertops.
Right. So if you're actually removing that and then giving them the blank canvas, I think that it leaves a lot more room for you to be a little bit more
You just mentioned
creative.
financing. I agree. That's going to be a huge issue if somebody's thinking of a mortgage and there's not a kitchen there, unless they're getting the work done before. And that's factored into this asking price. And now you're essentially almost in a way becoming a contractor, right?
Right.
Here's your option or whatever they decide to choose. Is it getting done before closing?
So maybe that's why it's happening in the luxury market, because maybe they're just a bunch of cash buyers. So they're selling these higher end homes pretty much empty so that people can finish them out.
Yeah, it wouldn't work in the average price points. I think it's genius.
I think it's a really interesting way to market it. I never really thought of it before. I never heard of it before. But I'm kind of a white boxing supporter.
Yeah, you're gonna need a sophisticated buyer, and I think that's why they're doing it in the Lux markets. Racket number 2.
We're on it.
Zillow did this is according to Zillow.
Right. I don't know why we're considering it a racket, but I mean,
I want to hear if it's a racket.
Go ahead. I think it's a racket.
According to Zillow, the most popular neighborhood in the U.S. is. Well, who would you have guessed if you didn't read the article?
I feel like maybe the state of California probably paid for this article, because it's just California.
They broke
it down into different cities.
Well, it's not California. California's not a neighborhood.
Whatever. They should have just said California. So California, you're awesome. You're doing it.
They've got the Oaks in Calabasas.
Yeah.
In that Long Beach, Anaheim area. So the Oaks is the most popular neighborhood.
You know who lives in Calabasas?
I do not.
The Kardashians.
Maybe that's why it's because people are just clicking trying to find their house on Zillow. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
No kidding, huh?
See? That's the racket.
This is going off of buyers, how often they're clicking these certain neighborhoods. Atlanta, Tuxedo Park neighborhood was number 2.
We should see if the Swifties went to that open house. Maybe it helped.
Maybe it jacked it up.
Maybe.
You've got Presidio. I probably butchered that. I think I did. Presidio Heights in San Francisco.
Well, I think it's Presidio.
Presidio?
There's an S-I-D-I-O.
Sam, do we have confirmation on that?
Presidio. Yes.
See, this is why I don't read when I'm
you don't read
in public.
In public.
They're like, this will be public. Bel Air, number 4. Paradise Park in Oakland, number 5. So 4 out of the top 5 were California.
So the next state though that we have on there outside of California,
Seattle.
Get into Seattle,
Washington,
Seattle, and then Georgia, and then DC,
Atlanta again, DC, and then New York is on the list with Yonkers, which was surprising that Yonkers was.
And what's really interesting too is if you look at because it actually gives you the median sale prices too. Most of these neighborhoods are $1.5 million to like 4 million, but Yonkers is at like 550.
Yeah.
So,
well, because people are getting priced out of the city, they're trying to find the deals, which has been happening around New York. But no Northeast love on there. We got some clicks up, Northeast peeps.
Yeah. What do we do? Maybe we should do something. What can we do? Let's think of something crazy marketing so we get clicks.
I think we need the Kardashians to move in.
Maybe.
All right.
I'll work on that.
So you think it's a racket that California's dominating?
Well, I just feel like California probably paid for that article somehow.
Total racket.
Anyway.
All right. Racket number 3, super interesting to me because I'm like a real estate nerd a little bit.
You're definitely a nerd. I feel like I just get the cliff notes from you. Like, hey, Nicole, let's talk about this. And I just like listen for like the cliff notes and.
Well, here's some major cliff notes coming.
Crazy
so get ready.
Cliff notes. I'm listening.
If you're like a real estate nerd, you'll be interested in this. Swanepoel came out with a Mega 1000, and they released the top 20 in what's going to be called this Mega 1000 report that they did in all the research. So they're doing the top 20 brokerages, top 20 franchisors, and the top 20 holding companies.
Right.
I want to highlight the number 4 brokerage in their top 20 brokerages because I think people in this industry continue to discount them as a major player, and clearly their numbers say otherwise.
Right.
So the number 4 brokerage on the top 20, and this data was as of December 31st, 2017, so it's for that year.
Right.
And it's sorted by sales volume. Number 4 brokerage volume that you're keeping up.
I am. I'm doing the cliff notes.
Is Redfin. What does that say to you?
I don't.
Redfin was
I don't
number
know. Give me the
4 in
cliff
volume.
notes, and I'll agree with you.
No, I want to hear your.
I don't. I will be honest here. I feel like a Redfin virgin. I do know that Redfin is basically just like a lower commission sort of company that you can hire. But beyond that, I'll be honest, I don't know much about it. So does it surprise me? Yeah, because I again, you hear it, but I also feel like being on the East Coast is sort of like, oh, like that it's, it's not.
They're certainly not.
It's not happening to me.
They're more
yet.
in the Rhode Island market, interestingly, but not in the Connecticut market, especially where we operate on the shoreline east of New Haven. They're certainly not. I did see an offer come through on a Redfin agent recently, but
really?
Yeah, but they're certainly not.
That would be fun
breaking.
to show.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Here's the point I'm trying to make, though. A lot of times when you're somewhere with people in this industry, whether you're outside your market, inside the market, and the word Redfin comes up, no, they're not going to make it, or they're not legit. These types of comments. But they're just so. I mean, $22.5 billion in 2017. Obviously, NRT leads the list, and we're gonna tag this list wherever you're watching this video.
NRT just includes so many different.
Absolutely.
Everybody does. It's sort of like.
Home Services of America was number 2. So those are the big dogs right now. 178 billion, 125 billion. It drops right down number 3 to Douglas Elliman, all the way to 26 billion. There's a large gap between the top 2 and then everybody else. So you got 26 billion, Redfin at 22 billion, beating players like Weicker and Howard Hanna and Realty One, and even our company who made the list, William Ravis Real Estate. So there's a whole bunch of them. Home Smart's a new one creeping in.
Oh, look, Keller Williams was after us.
Yeah, KW. So very interesting. But that's KW Go Management. You take K William as a complete. Yeah, well, you put them into the holding company.
Right. It changes. Well, it all changes depending on where
they're number 2 at 303.
Right.
So this is just looking at it from one approach, and this link will break out the holding companies from the franchisors to the brokerages. But just looking at brokerages.
And again, we're looking at it from the sales volume because obviously the transactions, depending on what kind of person you are, if you think transactions hold more weight, you'll see that the transactions aren't necessarily in consecutive order. Like I like to look at transactions over volume personally.
As an agent, I do.
Yeah.
But as these big companies make their money off the volume.
Of course. I get it. Yeah. I'm just saying to be cognizant of the fact that the transaction size is a little different. But
so we're attaching this top 20 brokerages.
Ooh, we should look at the agent count as based on, like, I wonder what each agent then is making.
Oh, you can get.
It would be kind of fun.
You can really go deep into this.
But really turn this into a big racket.
Well, here's what's interesting.
Do you do math like you do speak, or do you do math better than you speak?
No.
No, it's all bad. It's all bad.
Well, I mean, I could do math quick because I have a calculator.
Right.
Redfin only 1,250 agents to get to that number. Weicker, who was 2.5 billion less than them.
Yeah.
It took 9,000 agents to get there. So Redfin is clearly showing the industry that there is other models to do large amounts of volume and transactions
and make the top 10
with much less agents. That's been the point all along, right? Is that as these disruptors keep cracking into our industry, there's going to be far less agents to spread the work around. There's still going to be agents. Redfin's showing you that.
Well, right, because obviously the agents from Redfin, I'm assuming, came from a different brokerage. Yeah. So it's, I mean, obviously there's going to always be agents entering the industry, but I'm sure those 1,250 agents came from another brokerage.
Yep.
Yeah. But very cool. I mean,
check out this list. I'd love to hear your thoughts on, is Redfin in your market? Do you believe they're a big player over the next 5 to 10 years? Are you nervous? Do you think there's huge opportunity in these disruptors?
Or do you care more about white boxing? I mean, I care more about white boxing. So.
Or do you care more about white boxing? Have you ever seen white boxing?
I haven't. Today's really like the first. I feel like it's. I'm gonna look into it. I'll get back to you on that.
You're gonna text your investors right now and say, let's start white boxing instead of doing anything. See how they take that.
Maybe I won't need an investor to do that. We'll just start white boxing ourselves.
Yeah, that'd be an easy one.
I could white box.
Ooh, I'm thinking of a seller right now. I should.
White box?
The white box. Because here's the thing about white boxing.
I feel like it's kind of dirty.
Going all the way back to white boxing.
Being white and like box, I just feel like it's maybe a little inappropriate. But anyway.
Could be your thing, your tagline.
No, it will never
Call
be my
Nicole
tagline.
for some white boxing.
No, that's so
Here's
wrong.
the thing. It's a nice way to say your house sucks and we should white box it.
We should white box it. Yeah, interesting.
All right. Awesome, guys. Drop us some comments and we'll see you next time.